Hey, my workplace warriors, and welcome to another video. I am gonna talk with you today about why your online presence is your personal brand and how it evolved to become that. Now, if you think about it, there is practically nothing that does not have some type of computerized aspect to it. Same goes with your job search and networking and all things career advancement wise. So while it used to be that our first impression that we made to potential employers would likely be in person because you actually had to go to, no, first of all, let me get real old school on you. You actually had to look in the local newspaper most of the time on Sundays to see what jobs were in the market that you were searching for a job for, and then you would either go to that location in person on Monday usually and apply for the job via a paper application that the person at the front desk normally gave to you to complete. And you would have a paper copy of your resume. Many of us didn't have personal computers at home, so a lot of us had to go to the public library or to the local copy shop or Office Depot or Office Max or Staples to borrow or the post office and pay like 10 cents per copy for copies of our resume. And most of us who were in an active job search usually had about 15 or 20 copies of our resumes with us at any time and our cover letter, so we could actually apply for the jobs and attach a copy of our resume and cover letter. On top of that, we used typewriters more often than computers, and the productivity software was the Word Perfect suite, not Microsoft Office. So many things have changed, and as we continue to become more technologically advanced, 94% studies show that 94% or more of recruiters vet candidates on LinkedIn, which is the -- networking platform in the world. And so it's important for you to have an online presence. I'm just amazed at the number of people who they use a computer every day for work. Then they say, I get so tired of using a computer. I try not to use a computer. I don't use a computer during my time off. Well, we all need a break from using the computer, but don't stunt your growth and advancement by not using a computer for some of your personal and side hustles and side interests or extracurricular activities, because the more you utilize the computer for those types of things, the more comfortable you are going to be with utilizing technology in your everyday life. Then also, above all else, be honest. Don't use this opportunity to fudge anything about your experience or your professional exposure or even your extracurricular activities. It's not going to advantage you. You're going to have to be looking over your shoulder every day wondering when you're going to be found out. So do not do that. I cannot stress that to you enough. Honesty is still the best policy. No matter what is going on around you, honesty is still the best policy. And that's one of the reasons that your online profile has become, or your online presence has become, your personal brand, because people make a lot of assumptions and they form their perception of you from your online presence. And that's why I always coach my clients to make sure that you keep all of your online presence positive and appropriate. there's nothing wrong with having fun and showing some fun photos of you and your friends hanging out, and posting that to your Facebook profile. But limit who you allow to take pictures of you and post online, because some people have no sense of discretion, and you don't want something to arise that later on that makes a potential employer question your off-duty activities, because there is such thing as off-duty misconduct that could jeopardize your employment even after you've gotten the job, and it definitely can jeopardize a job offer or a pending job offer if a potential employer who is thinking about hiring you sees the wrong type of activity, something that makes them think twice about you representing their company. They could decide to either rescind or not extend a job offer at all. So keep that in mind as well. And make sure that you take this opportunity to list your volunteer service. The volunteer service can teach us skills and have us to utilize skills that maybe our current job is not requiring us to utilize. And so that's why it's so important to, even though I encourage you to keep your professional profile separate from your personal or truly social profile, is if you are going to incorporate any aspects of your integrity, your trustworthiness, your sense of sound judgment, and decision-making abilities, then let those shine through your volunteer activities. Like if you're working in, let's say, through your place of worship, maybe you're working with a youth group, or you're the head of a ministry or a community club. Maybe you're a member of your HOA, your neighborhood's HOA, things like that. All of those show like leadership and collaboration and teamwork abilities, as well as it can be assumed that that you have good communication skills as well, or that you may have good communication skills or public speaking skills by having to speak to groups because of working with these types of organizations and groups. Thank others who endorse you. And it is such an honor, I find it, when people who I've met or people who I have answered questions for, or they reached out to me and I took the time to reach back out to them and give them some advice or guidance regarding their career search, or if they're a lesser experienced HR professional than I am, and they reach out to me to ask me for my input regarding maybe a workplace incident that they are helping to address for their employer, then it warms my heart when they endorse me, because that means that they trusted me. They found my interaction, our interaction with each other, helpful. And it's just a really good feeling. Lets me know that I am definitely doing what I was called to do divinely. Then, do not ask others for endorsements. Let endorsements happen naturally. What you can ask for, though, is from current or former professional colleagues or managers. Ask them for a letter of recommendation. Now that is different, but typically endorsements come from people who have the pleasure of working with you, the experience of working with you, and in some capacity even advisory or working on a project or what have you, and they decide that they're going to endorse you because they were impressed with some aspects of that collaboration and the outcome. Know that, as I said earlier, the importance of being honest is totally tied to the perception that others have of you from your online presence about your trustworthiness. And that's why it's also important to make sure that you treat others with respect, whether it's on your professional social media environment or your social media environment. You're going to have people who are going to say negative things from time to time, but self control is another thing that will shine through if you don't engage in back and forth negative chatter with someone who may have a different opinion from you. Really, their opinion doesn't matter. So keep that in mind. Their opinion does not matter. We all have opinions, and the only person who our opinion truly matters to is us because we have it. But we also have to understand that if someone thinks differently than us, that they have that right to do so. So don't try and convince them to think the same way that you are thinking. It's usually not going to work, and it's going to end usually with you being a very frustrated individual, and frustration leads to impatience and us oftentimes acting out of character, which can leave a very negative impression about us with others who may not have, or well, who likely won't even have the full backstory and still may have the same impression of us being volatile on some level, even if they know the backstory, because we're showing to them, we're still showing a lack of self control. So think about that as well. Make sure that you express compassion. Do not call other people dumb. Do not call their ideas dumb. Do not call their posts dumb. Even if you don't agree with it. Adopt the advice that our parents and teachers told us, and they told us in Bible school when we were growing up. If you don't have anything nice to say nothing at all. A lot of us need to learn how to hold our tongue, how to just shut up, be quiet. It would serve us very, very well if more people knew how to just have an opinion and just keep it to themselves until the appropriate time to share it. But unfortunately, so many of us want to have the last word. We risk our professional reputation and the perception that potential employers have of us because we run our mouths too much. Let's stop that. Other thing is potential employers and recruiters will make a determination based on what they view of you online, whether it be Facebook, Instagram, wherever, or LinkedIn. If they're vetting you for a position, they're going to make decisions or develop perceptions of you about whether you're a positive person or whether you're a potential toxic person that the employer would not want on their team. And believe you me, I'm going to tell you, as a hiring manager and an HR associate director of HR, I would rather have a person who is less experienced but has a very professional demeanor and knows how to diffuse conflict and knows when to speak up and when to be quiet, than to have someone who has all the experience in the world and think they know it all and want to get up in other people's faces and what have you and argue with them and try and make people think the same way that they think all the time, and I definitely don't want someone who thinks that they're right all the time, and someone who devalues other people's contributions. I'd rather have the less experienced person and train them the way that I would want them to be trained and share my experience with them. So don't misbehave yourself out of a new job. Like I always tell employees at work when they come to me for advice about a situation with their manager or coworker, I tell them don't start out on the right side of policy and end up on the wrong side, because that is very possible. Then also watch the quality of your network. There's nothing wrong with unfriending someone or unconnecting with someone if you see that they are not exhibiting online behavior that you feel is representative of you or that you will want to be associated with. Make a memorable impression and choose to make a positive, memorable impression rather than a negative one. Also, avoid using slang and jargon, especially on your LinkedIn profile, because that is a professional profile. So treat it as such and treat it differently than you would treat your Facebook, IG, X, and other platforms. TikTok, of course, definitely don't. If you're using TikTok as your purely social platform or personal platform, yes, that's the other one. Treat LinkedIn totally different from the way that you treat those others. Then don't engage in any bullying, making negative comments about others, and make sure you control what images of you are out there. And if you find some, try to delete them as best you can. You'll never get rid of all of them, but hopefully you can catch it quickly enough to where a potential employer won't have to see an inappropriate image of you that includes nudity, drinking, any type of violence, or anything of that nature, any other inappropriate images. As I can't express to you enough to separate your professional profile from your personal profile, and maybe consider including a video on your professional profile, especially just a short video, about 1 or 2 minutes, just kind of an introductory video to introduce yourself as let's say for me, I would say a human resources professional with 30 years of experience and what my strongest areas are, which are employee relations and recruitment, and just share why you're so passionate about the field. You will win recruiters and potential employers' attention. You will engage them and you will keep their attention, and hopefully and prayerfully win their hearts over and make them want you to be the newest member of their team. So I hope you've gotten great value from this content. Please smash the like button if you have, so the algorithms will know that more people need to get this content, have access to it, and share it with your network. Also, when you feel comfortable, subscribe so that I can reach even more people, because I am on this mission to help you live your very best career life. And I want us to walk this journey together, this journey to success. So whether you're a federal employee who is finding yourself in these uncharted, unknown territories and unprecedented times, I especially hope that I've reached you. And if you're another person who may not even be a federal employee, but you have recently lost your job, just know that my thoughts and prayers are with you, and this content is meant to help you to succeed and to know that this is not the end of your career road. Just because you are facing these challenges, just never give up. Continue to put one foot in front of the other, and come back to my channel for constant encouragement and new content on the career advancement and job search process, success journey, so that you can land your next career opportunity. Also, I have a new cohort of my Career Search RX coaching program coming up beginning March 7th. I would love to have you join me. So I will leave that information in the description. Also, I will have some free training coming up. I will include that information in the description as well. And until next time, make sure that you make every day a great one. Look for the positives, not the negatives. Celebrate yourself and protect your mental and emotional health and well-being, as well as physical. But a lot of times we tend to neglect the mental and emotional. So once again, hope you got great value from this content. I look forward to seeing you for another video or my next Friday morning live. Every Friday morning is on YouTube on my channel, HR by Nnamtique 167 at 7 a.m. Bye-bye.